And we're live.
And here we go again. Your favorite three assholes are back.
I got to get out of this. I got to get out of the house.
What do you got? What do you got there, Pete? What are you drinking tonight, Pete?
One of our fine beers, you know.
I thought it looked like apple cider or something. I don't know.
Everybody's waiting. Everybody wants to see what I got.
White Claw?
Hey, he didn't mess there's no law when you mess with the claw.
You guys
I'm hanging out. Oh, backwards. I'm hanging out tonight with Mr. Tito. Hey, bro. It's me and Mr. Tito.
Switching over, bro.
What's going on? And my new computer's working well. No issues, bro.
Don't say nothing yet.
So we got a back in the day tonight. Is that what we're doing? A back in the day?
Back in the big day.
Back in the day. St. George Fire.
Back in the big day. Summer of 95. What's the date there, Rookie?
August 27th.
Oh, a hot summer. It was a drought that year, from what I'm reading. There was a drought in New York. Big brush fires going out in Suffolk County. And believe it or not, the FDNY sent 10 engines, 2 battalion chiefs, and officers for mutual aid out to Suffolk County for these brush fires. And they were getting their balls beat in. They were working hard. And believe it or not, that's when they got under control on the 27th. And
I'm lying. It's August 26, 1995. I apologize.
August 26th?
August 26th.
Yes, it is. And on August 26th, they sent those companies out to assist the volleys out. See, volleys can work well with paid guys. They assisted the volleys out with these giant brush fires that were burning for several days. And at 7:30 at night, the Suffolk County Fire Command notified FDNY that we were no longer needed, bro. And they were sending them back to the city. And then all the shit hit the fan, bro. Let's talk about what the St. George Hotel was back in the day.
I got the whole shindig right here. So I'll make a quick thing here. The St. George Hotel was the grandest of New York City's hotels when it opened in 1926. So after reading a few things, this was actually like the top hotel in the country, like in the United States. It was in Brooklyn Heights. It had a total of 2,632 guest rooms in a complex of 8 buildings. So basically, it looks here like it was an entire city block. Yep. Some of the original buildings dated back into 1855. The thing was that all of the buildings were interconnected at the basement level. So there was a lot of stuff, and there were other connections at different levels throughout the building. So nothing was like
it was a mishmash.
It was a mishmash.
They actually constructed the building between 1885 and 1933, and it consisted of 9 individual buildings. And the tower, I believe, was 33 stories. The main tower.
The main tower, yes.
33 stories high. So it was a mishmash of buildings that took up 4 square blocks: Clark, Pineapple, Hicks, and Henry. So that was that's what was going on then. And believe it or not, that pool, they had a saltwater pool, which was the biggest in the country, the biggest pool in the country, right there in Brooklyn. And the ballroom, it was the largest ballroom in the world, Nick Corrado. in the world. Yep, the largest ballroom in the world. So this thing was like the who's who of hotels, bro. It was opulent. We got some pictures, right? Pete will show up later.
Yeah. Here we go. I'll just start getting them up there. Stand by. Vavoom. Here's a nice little ad from the.
So that's the pool right there.
Swimming pool,
right? Yeah, she's
tremendous. Look how opulent.
It had many tiers, and believe it or not, that pool. Look at the size of that thing now. How many square blocks that is?
Wow,
that's crazy. Yeah, man. That pool is actually still there.
It is underneath. Yes.
It's underneath the health club that they built. It's actually still existing.
You guys notice this beautiful ad or article here? Yeah, absolutely fireproof.
Hotel St. George in Brooklyn Heights. Absolutely
They should have had
fireproof.
They should have had a 3 little word right in front of that. Non.
Yeah. Can you make that picture big, Pete? That see the size of that thing, man? That thing was
Let's
huge.
see. This thing is huge. Vavoom.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
That's
it's tremendous.
gigantic.
It reminds me of the park, the one on 5th and 58th. You know the one I'm talking about.
What, the Waldorf?
Waldorf. That's
Yeah,
the
man.
one.
That actually looks bigger than the Waldorf to me. It's huge. That's crazy,
Yeah.
giant, ridiculous. So anyway, they get turned out, right? This was and the drought was going on. And the summer of 95, and let's see, I got on right before that I got on, and I was actually in that area. I was in 210, and it wound up being, I think 226 was the first ones to have a line on the fire, right, Louis?
Yeah, you know, I don't have that on this screen here, but they had 3 or 4 separate multiples. So it depended on which building, you're talking about. I don't know if they were, I thought 207 was the first engine at this.
Oh, they were, but they were first, I believe, on here.
Oh,
But
there was some issue because of the standpipe, right? Who had the first line? Who ended up getting the first line?
Well, they hooked up. Let's just say that by 1995, this was a bit of a shit mess, this building, because it was occupied by a lot of squatters and homeless people.
Vacants,
even though that they were boarded up well, like pack rats, man, they found their way in, and they were all living in a lot of these vacant buildings.
Just to give a little context for the people here, 95, we were still kind of coming out of the really rough, almost 20-year period New York had from like 75 to 95. 95 was kind of tapering off, but you still had the hints of it around New York. It was kind of unsafe. You still had squatters in the Lower East Side, and certainly you would have had squatters then here if it was boarded up.
Yep.
So you want me to read the first how the whole call came in for the fire?
Because I think they got it in. They gave it 10-20, which means slow everybody down.
I have that whole thing here. So it starts off. The weather was warm in New York City in the early mornings of August 26, 95. Many of the occupants of the St. George Hotel and the surrounding buildings. So there was 2 of the buildings in the St. George were vacant, and a couple of them, 1 or 2, still had legit occupants in it.
I think it was a co-op, right? By that time, they changed one of the buildings into a co-op apartment.
They were starting to do that, yes. So it says here, so they had their windows open for ventilation. Obviously, it was hot as balls. At some time around 3 o'clock in the morning, several occupants called down to the hotel desk to report a smell of smoke. This is some shit. The phones in the room did not have the capability to call outside the hotel itself. So they could only call the front desk. Exactly. The hotel staff noted that the alarm system for the building had not indicated a problem, so they did not call the fire department. So people are saying they smell smoke. They're looking at their board. It's not showing any lights or anything, so they don't call anybody. 2 minutes later, the Brooklyn Communications gets a call reporting smoke. So they send out the alarm, and that was for Henry Street. The first alarm goes out. 3 engines, 2 trucks, the battalion chief. They get on scene at 3:36. Upon entering, they were told that there was no problem in the hotel by the people at the desk. Obviously, they look at the alarm panel. Nothing is showing any activation. The 3-1 asked the dispatcher to call back, right? 10-7. They get back and basically say they get an answering machine. So there's nobody there. So there's no additional information. So now the chief, he could have walked away from the thing. You know what I mean? There's nothing showing. But they send somebody up to the roof. The roof man, they send him up to the roof. And once he got up
ladder 118. Actually, roughly 224 was first due.
Oh,
207 second due, 226 third due. And the roof man from ladder 118 was up on the roof. And he saw he saw flames, right?
So no, all I have here is that once he got there, he saw the glow of the fire, which was several buildings down from the block where they were. Right.
That's how big this fucking complex was of buildings, bro.
Yeah. So then they get another call for a civilian who's reporting light smoke visible from one of the buildings around the corner from that on Clark. At 3:44, the battalion chief transmits a radio report to confirm the presence of fire. They get the 4th engine and the squad company. And then,
back then there was only squad 1. There was only one.
That is correct.
41 was an enhanced engine. Their squad now, but they called themselves an enhanced engine. But Squad 1 was the only one, the one and only. So they got on the box. I think they were on the box before. Actually, they were put on the box the same time as Rescue 2. Right.
So, I mean, this is actually coming from, I found this today. This is like from FEMA. FEMA did a report on this because, you know, we basically lost a whole square block. And there was other fires. I mean, I could read through this whole thing if you wanted to. I don't know what information you had there, because this goes like alarm by alarm by alarm, like where they went and what they did.
I know initially, because I was listening. We couldn't get it queued up, but I was listening to the audio. And very calm 1075, a very calm 107. They asked for more information. They didn't have any more information. And thank God the chief did send the roof man from ladder 118 up to the roof, and he saw the fire. But immediately, I know, because I'm looking at the boxes now and who they sent out. They asked for a 95-foot tower ladder. So
that was 119, right?
They put 119 on. So he knew right away that this was going to be a shitstorm. He's asking for a 95-foot tower ladder, bro. So good for the chief, you know, to identify that this might be a shit mess here, man. You know, and sure enough, it wound up being a shit mess. And they couldn't hook up. From what I'm seeing here, is they couldn't hook up on the floor. When they tried to hook up on the floor below the fire,
water. The standpipe was disconnected.
Standpipe was disconnected because it was a vacant.
Correct.
Right. And I'm looking for what it was.
Yeah. So this thing goes from the first alarm to second alarm, third alarm, and then in a short time, they already had figured out that they had to cancel the interior attack.
Right.
Fire was actually spreading down to the lower floors via the elevator shaft, and
there was a lot of holes in the floor.
Correct.
Yep.
So the 3-5 battalion 3-5 gave the order to move the attack crews and, you know, start to move out, and that's when 219 started to set up.
Right.
And as the last of the fire, it says here, as the last of the firefighters were leaving the fire building, the fire dropped all the way down to street level, and was visible on all 10. This was that one particular building was visible on all 10 floors at that time.
Nice.
There was heavy involvement of the 8th and 9th floors. Tavel ladder 119's bucket it was experiencing extreme heat, and by 4:06. So what is that? That's not even an hour, right? What was that? Was it an hour? Like within a half hour.
47 minutes. It went to a
fifth alarm, right?
So just want to say that FDJC Engine 2 in the chat says that Chief Steve would have done the same thing.
Son of a bitch, he would have. You know, I was in such a frenzy to get this up. I left Chief Steve up in the. Chief Steve would have definitely. Who? Chief who?
Wait. You mean Chief who?
No.
You mean I'm Chief Steve? I'm here to check your socks. If your OT is high, I'll send you to the rock. Mustache trimmed and tight to your face. Know who you're talking to. Don't step out of place, 'cause I'm Chief Steve.
Yeah, we got more lyrics coming, by the way. An updated Chief Steve. And don't forget, when Chief Steve finally meets Chief Steve, it's going to be a hell of an episode.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
It's coming. Listen, really quick, I wanted to say, too, a heads-up move by 226 is when they found out that the standpipe had been vandalized, they lowered their roll-ups out the window and were actually operating. Now, when I got to 210, right, I worked a detail in 226, probably in 96, right? And the first dude nozzle man was a guy called Z-Man. He was a perfect guy that looked like an engine guy. Had the big mustache down to here, little Z-Man. He had the reactive voice like this. And I actually happened to work with him that day. But I noticed on the wall in 226, they have what looks to be someone's underwear and shit and feces all over it, and they fucking bronzed it. And they said that was the Z-Man's underwear.
Wait. You mean there was shit and feces?
It was shit and feces.
Slash.
And they got it to the plaque with his underwear, and they bronzed it, and it said Z-Man's underwear at the St. George's Hotel fire. But, you know, after kidding around. I asked him what it was like, and he said, "Dude, they made it to the ballroom, and when they opened the door to the ballroom, he said he saw little cyclones of fire dancing all over the ballroom floor, bro. It was like something he never saw before. So maybe he really should. I don't even know if the guy's still alive. It's I hope he is. He had some years on back then. So in '96, how long ago was that? 24 years ago. Yeah. I was trying to try and call over there and see if they could
send a picture
of it. But I'm probably like, who the fuck are you? I don't remember you.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
I walk into 288, the guy asked me, who the fuck are you?
Boys,
I do. I was there 6 months ago.
Taylor Aldridge asks in the chat, did the captains carry thermal imaging cameras back then? Probably not, right?
Yeah,
nope.
No.
Nah, didn't have them back then. Nope.
In fact,
Actually, I don't know if it would have been that helpful. You really didn't need it because everything was on fire anyway, bro. It was like a shitstorm of fire all over the place.
I found this paragraph here. It says at 4:06. So again, that's not too far. After he ordered the third alarm, the fire was beginning to spread to exposure 4. That was the Marquee building, and the fire quickly began to produce a huge. I remember I was actually working this night in Astoria, Queens. Right. I was in 117. And we just kept hearing multiple, and then we heard about this. I haven't heard too many jobs where you get this. The fire began to produce huge volume of firebrands. Residents were using garden hoses to protect their roofs as the brands landed on all structures all around. And they talk about this. What was it, Kev? 16 alarms? I don't remember. I don't even know what this was.
It was 16 alarms. And they had over 120 pieces of apparatus there. 120.
That's just for these buildings. There were buildings all around.
The embers were flying all over the place. So they had engines going on what they call Ember Watch or Ember or whatever it is.
Yeah, Brand Patrol.
Brand Patrol. That's what it is. And the brands just were flying all over Brooklyn, starting fires all over the place.
Dude, they were calling companies from Manhattan. There were companies just all hands. There were guys on the roof looking across 2 blocks and saying, "You got a job. There's fire coming out the window over there."
The only borough that didn't send resources was Staten Island. I don't know why. It's the closest, but
how many? Thomas Honeycutt is asking, how many engines and ladders do you get on a 5-alarm?
Oof, I'm looking right now at the what do you call it? Oh, I lost the rest of it.
Because it doesn't go like so. The first alarm, you would get 4 engines, 3 trucks, the rescue, the squad, the 2 chiefs.
Right.
You don't get the same thing on every. You don't get the same amount of trucks. You have that, Kev, there? I know it's not exactly the same. You do get a lot more engines, but.
Right. Oh, my God. There's so many of them. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. They ought to have over 50 just on this one box. Remember, there was multiple boxes out because there was multiple buildings on fire. You had Pineapple Street. We had another fire going. You had Hicks Street, which was another building, which was fucking roaring.
All multiples, all 4 multiples.
And you had the main block, the main one, which was 51 Clark, which they had 50 engines. They had 50 engines on this one box, and I don't know how many ladders. Probably half that amount of ladders. But they also had, Rescue 2, Rescue 1, and Rescue 3. 3 rescues called. I think somebody asked us that in another podcast. Do they ever special call more than one rescue? And
at that one they did, right?
Yeah, here's another box where they had 3 rescues, a squad. Well, they only had 1 squad in the city at the time, so 3 rescues and a squad going on there.
Shit,
so.
this thing had pictures too. I didn't go that far down. It actually has pictures. Holy shit!
Of the
I don't know if you could see that.
I think I have it. Let me pull it up. Stand by.
That's rocking. Look at those. Holy shit.
Can you see that?
Yeah, it looks like a shell of a building.
Stand by, boys. I'll see if I got him. Stand
FDNY.
by.
We never lost the foundation.
let me share this because it's pretty fucking epic.
I got to refuel here.
Yeah, me too. Jagaloosh. Oh my God, this is crazy. Here it comes. Balgoon.
Oh, you got it. Yeah, all right. Kid.
Yep.
I don't care what Coop says about you.
You know what?
Right.
Look at this.
You don't care
Actually,
either.
I've never seen a fire this big in my life, so this is a first for me right here.
16 alarm, bro. It was big.
Look at the
16
destruction.
bad.
That looks like 9/11. It doesn't look like a fire.
That picture up top definitely looks like 9/11. It looks like the trade towers. The trade.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that. Burnt out. Holy shit. You think, how did it start? Was there just some junkie who
I think I read
You know-
somewhere where they said it was vagrants who started the fire.
You know
of
what? I didn't
course.
read that in here.
No?
I didn't read any of that. I haven't gotten. I should have maybe did a little bit more perusing.
What?
Oh, what player?
Hey, bro. Actually, you know what they were saying was that the woman, dispatcher for Brooklyn, who was a 21-year veteran, she spent 12 years in the NYPD. They said that they gave her a medal because of how she handled that many fucking companies and that much of a shit mess on the radio.
She was the dispatcher. Yeah.
Yeah, she was the dispatcher, and she was solely the dispatcher for that box. And the rest of the dispatchers took care of the rest of Brooklyn. Not that all the companies were probably there, but I see a lot of Manhattan companies on this box too.
You mean the Borough of Fire?
Oh,
Did you hear
Brooklyn,
that?
the Borough Fire. I did see it, and the guy said you're leaving the Borough Fire.
I had to post that.
Who was the boss? Did you recognize the voice?
I don't know who he was. I didn't hear it, but it was. He had to get a chuckle out of that. I know I would have got a chuckle out of that one. So yeah, that was it in a nutshell. So just to give you my 2 cents on that one, I went there the next. I worked the whole night. They didn't send us, and then we worked the day tour. And I don't remember what time they started swapping out. We went there and just most of the fire was out. That was just that shell there. And again, I had like 2 years on the job, and I thought it was like the greatest thing in the world. And half the guys, didn't want anything to do with it. You know what I mean? It was just pouring water on a foundation.
That's what we talked about the other day, bro. Being in a towel ladder.
I was like, woo!
Yeah. That's why I would not want to go to a towel ladder, bro. You sit there on those things when everybody else is going. You're sitting there and pissing water. Not bad in August, but like in a cold February night, you're like, what the fuck are we doing here, man?
I've actually, you were saying something before. I actually had a job. I think it was on Roosevelt Island, and I was in 117. And we got there, and the fire was on the 7th floor, 8th floor, and they were stretching off the standpipe, and the guy was hooked up to it on the 1st floor, and we had no water.
Right.
And it took a little bit of while till somebody came up with the idea. Again, I was a kid. It had the thick glass. You can't just push that out. You know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
So I don't know how we got it. The guys got it out. And we ended up, the engines in the trucks, they dropped the line down, hooked it up, and pumped. And after the job, we found out that there was a valve on either the 1st or 2nd floor, like just a valve that was in there somewheres, and it was closed, and that's why none of the water was going up to the upper floors.
When I was in ladder 116, we were first due at Roosevelt Island. We used to drill there all the time, and the guys would say to me, these are fucked up buildings here. When you get to the door, there's an arrow going up or going down, which means when they're duplexes. So by looking at the door, the arrow on the door meant when you go in, either you're going down or you're going up. But I'm like, if it's a charged hallway, you ain't seen that arrow on the doorway. So anyway, they're like, well, we never go to jobs here anyway. But 2 weeks later, bro,
Murphy shows up.
Yeah, Murphy shows up. First due, I had the irons, bro. So I popped the door with the rabbit tool, was charged down to the bolt. I mean, it was just a one room mattress in one room, but still, I remember trying to see. It wasn't that charged in the hallway, but I saw the arrow and knew enough to go down. I think it was down. Found the bedroom with the mattress. But
those are always.
We never go to jobs here. We drill on these buildings all the time, but we never go to these jobs. All right.
Those duplex jobs never seem to do well.
They suck.
They never do well.
Nah.
I don't know why. That's just we don't do good at those things.
Anyway, those buildings now, do you know what's in there now, Roof?
No,
St. George,
I don't.
They are actually still co-ops on the St. George's Tower, which is 33 stories. And now they just renovated. Well, I don't know what year it was. This was shortly after, but they're educational housing now, dorms on Clark Street. They're all dorms, and Clark Street is where the main entrance was to that grand lobby
Marquee?
and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And they're all educational housing, and I forget what college it's for. I
Dude,
heard.
you know how
about
much
them.
that property is worth right now?
Oh my God,
Holy
forget it.
Christ.
Forget
It's
it.
got to be like $100 million. It's like absolutely like you couldn't even put a number on that
No.
on those.
No.
And in '95, nobody wanted it.
Yeah,
It's
in '95. Yeah.
In 95, if you wanted to buy a brownstone in Park Slope, a lot of them you could have bought for $1. $1 because the city wanted to kind of give them away. Brooklyn, because Fifth Avenue and Park Slope was shoot 'em up, bang, bang. I mean, it was gangs, drug dealers, gangs, and then more drug dealers, right?
Yeah.
And now, if you want a brownstone, it's $6 million
Yeah, bro.
for a brownstone in Park Slope, Brooklyn. I mean,
you know what? I think the word of the day should be hipster.
Oh.
Oh.
Hipster. Boo! Thomas Burke says, Pete, tell them I think it was Lieutenant Daly working in R2 last night in Queens.
I got to call him. I'll text him. Oh, actually, I might have. I mean, I'm not saying it could be allegedly. I might have gotten in touch with the actual dispatcher, possibly, who actually said that, and might have some more funny.
Awesome.
Yeah, I might have heard talk to the guy. Maybe allegedly, I don't know.
You mean he's a friend of ours?
A friend of a friend. A friend. Yeah.
Pete, really quick. When I went to 210 in Fort Greene, there was a vacant brownstone next door, and it was all boarded up. But what we did was we took over that whole backyard and made it like the barbecue. And so when I'm a probie, I'm doing as much as I can to impress the guys. I make a whole slate patio back there, man. I while I'm working, when I'm not doing nothing, I'm grading it out. I'm making a slate patio, and I say to one of the guys, "Dude, why don't we all chip in and buy this vacant house here?" And they were like, "Dude, shut the fuck up and just start laying the fucking, just keep laying the slate and shut up, all right?" Dude, you know how much it's worth now, bro?
Oh,
yeah, big mistake, man. I mean, my dad was offered a 6-family apartment building in Astoria for $122,000, and he was like, I don't want the responsibility.
Yeah.
All right, listen, you want your little buy your building across the street story now?
Yeah.
Buy stocks today. You want to start buying something? Buy stocks today.
Buy stocks today.
10 years from now, hopefully, we'll maybe still be doing this. We'll be like,
say, Louis told me.
Remember when Louis said something about buy the stocks? He said buy the stocks. That's a peach.
Where's the spoon?
Where's the spoon?
Stop talking about buildings 20 years ago. Buy the stocks.
Take it from that guy right there. He's got a lot of scuttles over there, that guy, bro.
Buy the stocks. Don't listen to him. You're not buying stocks today. You're buying it for 10 years from now. Buy Apple. Right. Buy Disney. Buy Boeing. Buy them all. Buy American, baby.
He's got a 10-foot hook, right?
Oh, I got a big hook.
He's got a big hook, bro. Big hook.
You feel better? I got my glasses on. I can see what the fuck's going on.
Oh, look at that old fuck.
And I'm repping the old school right here. Look at the old school. You see it?
Oh, I had a salty dog. I was in such a mess trying to get this computer to work, bro. I was cursing and fucking sweating my ass off.
I don't even know if they know the story.
What story?
How we with this, and then we went to getting salty. They don't even know.
How we went to what?
How we went from salty dog to getting salty.
Oh, we got the shit suit out of us. That's how we went to that. Yeah, I was getting. Here's a true story. I was getting letters.
Old classic.
The letters come to the office by us. So I'm getting these letters from a lawyer, and I'm like, "Yeah, what the fuck is this?" I'm ripping them up. I don't think they mean anything.
That's so funny. Here, I do so much research online, right? I'm always online all the time, and I just happen to search something, and it comes up that we're getting sued from a company called Salty Dog in North Carolina. So I'm like,
are they an apparel company as well, or is it just?
They are. Yeah.
Oh wow.
No, they're you know what their apparel is, dude? It's a dog with a raincoat on.
With a raincoat.
A dog with a raincoat. It's a surf shop down in North Carolina, and he's got it's a hotel actually. And then there's
fucking hipsters. Hey,
son of a bitch. So I call him up and say, "Hey, listen, I think we're getting sued."
Yeah.
He's like, what? I'm like, I'm telling you, I copy it and I send it to him. He's like, you know what? Maybe I know a lawyer. Let me go talk to him. He's like, oh yeah, you guys are going to get a letter basically saying, because it's already been applied to the court.
Yeah.
Sure as shit. I'm working
I
on
was
my.
like, I think we got that letter. I threw it out.
Yeah,
everyone, but everyone is salty, dog.
The letter of intent, the best was we get the whole packet, right? The lawyer says, you're going to get a packet. Somebody's going to come and present this to you. I'm like working on my truck, and all of a sudden somebody's like, I see somebody driving the driveway. She gets out, and I'm like, what do you got? What are you guys suing me or something? And she starts laughing. She goes, I'm like, come on, give it to me. Come on, give it to me. So she's like, I've never had, usually people spit on me and, do all this stuff, So I read it, and it says that we should have got a letter of intent. I'm like, no, we never got a letter of intent.
No, cease and desist.
Cease and desist. He goes, maybe we got one of those. I'm like, I'm sure I might fucking shut it down. I might throw it out. But I have to say, they were very cool. They had the trademark on. We did a trademark search when we first became this, and maybe our lawyer wasn't as diligent, and they did have the trademark, and basically they allowed us to change the name, give us some time to get rid of our stock, and
they didn't want about it.
Yeah, they didn't want to hurt us because we were firemen in the city, so it worked out good. I mean, I still wouldn't wear a dog with a raincoat, but
right.
That's the story. But this is worth cash.
Old school. This is dog apparel. That's retro, bro.
That's a lot of scuttles right there.
Well, I'll tell you, I got a. Everybody in Long Beach where we live, Kev can attest to this, has a cruiser bike, like a beach cruiser. You got to have a beach cruiser when you live out here. You live on a beach. And the back of mine has a big old milk crate on it. So when I want to load up with beers or whatever and my fishing poles and go do some fishing, I can. And of course, I got a license plate on mine that says Salty Dog, right?
Oh.
And what? Because it's a rust bucket. The thing's a rust bucket. So, it's a Salty Dog bike, right? And but I've had that for years now. So it's a common thing. It's a term. So,
right.
Give me a break.
What do you got? What do you got going on there with Muscles Marinara over there? What do you got? You got the fucking guinea tea over there? What's going on?
Oh
no, you mean Kev? Yeah.
I told you,
what
bro.
happened?
I was in such a heat to get the new computer going on. I was sweating my balls off.
I know you're not hitting the gym because that's where we hang out, right?
Oh,
so because of the HIV.
Whoa, come on,
Hey, because of the HIV, the HIV.
Oh, by the way,
let's see the gun show.
Tomorrow night's show is a very controversial R2 We will be talking about the CV-19er and R2 on that. So me and Louie have a little bit of opposing views. So it might get a little heated, but we're gonna throw our own 2 cents out there.
I'm just here to stir the pot. But Kev, let's see that gun show, man. Come on.
No, come on, bro. Stop it. So anyway, listen. I don't know if everybody also knows, dude. Did I know the whole story about getting salty, bro? Like how long I know that old motherfucker over there, bro?
They know about that. They already know. They know.
We talked about that.
Yes.
Pete, do you know about it?
But you guys know each other since you were 12, right?
Yeah, 12 years old. We went to the same grammar school, high school, college, and we both got on the same job, and then we both wound up in the same house together, bro. So now we're in business
the
together.
Same company.
Now you're stuck.
The same company. I wound up marrying his cousin the first time.
I dated his sister.
He dated my sister. So that's how
my sister.
His twin sister.
His twin sister, no less.
Yep. She got all the looks. By the way. He did not get anything.
The lady that I met at the restaurant when we went to a recent gathering, that sister.
All my sisters were there. 3 sisters were there.
His twin sister.
All right. Yeah. I was sitting across from her. I remember her. Nice lady.
Thank you.
Kathleen.
Hey, Ming.
So we gotta wrap this one up. What do you got after the 16th alarm, bro? Anything in there? Because we got the big CV-19er tomorrow, which is gonna be big, hot.
Yeah, I talked to Ray. I think we're gonna probably have to do the following week.
What, for the podcast?
For Ray, with Ray. He wants to.
Strong.
Yeah, he wants
What
to
about-
do it.
What about Johnny 2?
I left a message with him, so I'm going to find out.
We can
Podcast coming up. Podcast coming up.
We can always grab some old farts from the bullpen if we had to.
Yeah, everybody's a little scared to come out to the with the
To my house
with the high five.
We don't. Hey, we don't have to. We could have it right here via. This is actually better for everybody, and it's probably a better move anyway, considering the HIV is on the loose right now.
Can you get a? Can you get a fourth guy on there, Pete? Can we split?
I can get 6.
Holy shit!
God.
So maybe we'll do one Thursday night. Well, maybe we'll get one of the old man Rivers to come on because he's got 8 million stories that still tell that. Every time he tells me, I'm in the crowd. I'm like, holy shit! Do your stories ever end, bro, or what? So
I like old.
Maybe
stories.
we get Old Man River Hank and Old Man River Ray Fat Sealy, and then next week, we get Ray Strong on there.
When the high five calms down a little bit.
When
the HIV calms down. Hey, we got one question from Zachary Galster, and I want to know the answer to this. Best childhood story? ? Let's go.
He knows what it is. He knows what it is.
Finger?
This is good. Let's go.
No.
All right, so I'm going to tell my story, and then he can tell his story. So we were probably 12 years old, 10 or 12 years old, and we were playing tackle football in the snow. It was probably like 6 or 10.
No, it was in the street. No, it wasn't snowing. We were practicing for a game we were having against another neighborhood. It was on because that's how you did what you did on the asphalt.
No, I thought it was snowing.
No, you old motherfucker. No.
So anyway, I tackle somebody. I go down. No, because I had my glove on. I had gloves on.
Because
I had to pull the glove.
Yes, it wasn't snowing.
Oh,
We were playing. Pete, we're playing tackle football with equipment on the asphalt and cobblestone.
That's how I lost my front teeth playing tackle football on the asphalt. Same fucking thing. I got my face run into the bumper of a fucking '89 Buick.
Nice.
That was good heavy steel too. Yeah. So I tackle somebody, and I feel like I go to do something with my hand, and I feel like something ain't right with my hand, and I look, and I feel weird, so I pull my glove off, and my pinky. You see how it's
the other way.
It's bent in this way. It was bent in that
this way.
So I was like, "Oh my god!" And I was going, "Don't look, it's disgusting." And then
and he's calling for my mother.
And he kept going, "What's the matter?" I'm like, "Don't look, that's all he remembers."
Disgusting.
That's all he remembers is don't look, it's disgusting.
Pete, I got a better one, Pete. You ready?
Bring it.
I'm afraid. Is this on me again?
Yeah.
Ah, shit.
Seventh grade Catholic school. Okay. Him and I, we were the same size back then. He shot up to 6 foot something. I'm still 5'6", but anyway. Our job was to clap the erasers.
Oh no! Come on!
Yeah, man. Yeah. All right. So we got the window open in the hallway, and we're clapping the erasers.
Catholic school.
And we're spitting on the mothers and the kids down we're on the 3rd floor, the 4th floor, and we're spitting out the window. Loogies. So the last thing he says is, "Oh, a wet one." We turn around and
Mr. Klein.
Mr. Klein, he's like this. "I'll see you boys in my office." Dude, we go back to the classroom, right? We go back to the classroom and he starts bawling, crying. Like he's crying so hard he can't catch his breath. He's like, "My mother, she's gonna kill me. What am I gonna do? I hate this school. So our teacher, Mr. Vol, goes, "Do me a favor, take him to the bathroom. Get him out of here.
Get him out of here before
He
kills himself."
He was a mess. So he's crying. Now you go to the bathroom and he's kicking the doors. And I hate this school. I should have stayed in public school. So she says, "Do me a favor, go to Mr. Klein. All right, go there now before the day's over." So we go to Mr. Klein.
I don't remember.
He's got two. You get a pink slip on.
Oh, the pink slip is like
dead.
torture.
You get a pink slip. You're dead. So he's holding 2 pink slips. And this fucking guy is crying so hard. I swear to God. I thought he was going to have a heart attack. He couldn't catch his breath. He goes, "My mother is going to hit me with the ball bat."
All right, but wait, Louis. You're
Yes.
an old school. You come from an old school Italian family, right?
Yeah, she would
Oh,
beat
So
he
they
would've
beat
beat
the
crap out of
shit
you.
out of you. Hey,
Oh.
I'm not Italian, Croatian, close enough. We border each other. Let me tell you something. My dad, I'll tell you a story. My dad,
Right, let me finish my
oh,
story.
all right,
Bro.
go ahead.
So anyway, he's crying so hard he can't catch his breath. Mr. Klein has a look on his face like, what the fuck? He's like, he takes the pink slip.
Get
He
the
tells
guy
him up. He
outta
goes,
here.
get him out of here. Get him. So he saved us from a pink slip.
I get my ass whooped for anything, man. That was, back in the old days. Forget
Dude,
about
a
it.
pink slip, you were better off putting your face in the
We
grave.
were older going to clubs. If I drove him home and it was past the time he was going to be home, his mother was on the stoop with a wiffle ball bat, bro.
All right, see, that's where we differ because although I went to Catholic school and ate shit, they didn't care. I was drinking vodka at 12. You know what I mean? It was classic Croatian shit. But my God, man, Catholic school was brutal. I couldn't stand it either, man. I got the shit kicked out of me in that place by the teachers, not the kids.
Right.
I forgot about that. That's funny shit.
I got the shit kicked out of me all through high school because my brother was a senior and I was a freshman, and his friends used to toss me in the garbage can upside down in the cafeteria. My brother.
That's when he started working out.
When you were in 8th grade, though, did you have a guy threaten you with a gun, a 38 every day?
Oh, wow. You had that? Oh,
Catholic school, no bullshit. All right. This is Shoot 'em Up, Bang Bang, 1989, Astoria, Queens. Kid, part of our friend group. There was 4 of us that always hung out. This kid went kind of crazy, and he just wanted to fight me every day. And back then, I wasn't so slick to do that. My father split, and I was raised by these 2 nervous old women, my mom and my grandma. And back then, I wasn't keen to fight, right? Until I started fighting competitively, and then I started whipping some ass, and then I was like, "Come on!" But until then, I was terrified of fighting. And
that guy might have made fun of your little earmuffs there too. I'm just saying.
He would have made fun of
these. That's probably why they would have picked on you. They would have saw something you're wearing like that, bro.
Listen, just because I'm a professional, I have a real microphone here, okay? Unlike you.
We will soon. We will soon. A couple of feet away from me right now is the new Getting Salty podcast studio, bro. It's not built yet.
When the HIV runs clean,
when the HIV runs clean, we're going to start construction.
We'll start construction. But no, this kid would, no joke, he would bring bullets and a gun to school. Sometimes he dropped the bullets in front of me and go, those were for you. All right.
42 minutes. Holy shit.
And then finally, leave it to an Irishman. The Irishmen are the best. Okay. Nobody's better than an Irishman in this situation. My friend Mike Stevenson, I'll never forget, grabbed this fucking kid and this was on our graduation day, took him and smashed him into a wrought iron fence, and he was just like, bang, 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 and he goes, "You leave Peter alone."
There you go. Taught him a lesson, bro.
I love the Irish. Good people.
Good people.
All right, let's wrap this bitch up, bro, because tomorrow we got a big episode. We might be talking for a while tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow. I got a lot of strong opinions on this one, bro. So we might be slugging it out.
I'm with you. And where can they find everybody?
Oh, Pete, you know.
Let's go through it. Let's go through it. First of all, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button down below and hit your notification buttons. Because
hit the subscribe button and share it. Bitches.
Yeah, see? Yeah, youtube.com/.
How many people we are following? Not too many tonight, Pete? How many we got?
We had 51 at our peak tonight, my friend. That was good numbers.
Good job, bro. Tomorrow's going to be a mix 'em up. Tomorrow night's going to be a knockout fucking 2 cents fest, bro.
Follow us on YouTube. Like and subscribe and share. Guys, listen. Let me tell you something. The best thing you guys could do for us is follow us and share us around. If you want this thing to go big, if you want us to come to your hometown and do a spotlight on your firehouse, make this thing go viral.
We are taking this on the road, bro. We are taking this on the road. I told old man River Hank.
Hold on one second. Go back. Is that say producer Pete now, or Pete the producer? Which one is
Producer Pete. Me.
What
Ah,
happened?
producer Pete.
Shorten it a
Shortened
little
it
bit.
up a little bit. All right.
Shorten it up. But boom. Follow us on youtube.com/getting salty experience, you guys. Guys, also go on over to the Instaham, or aka the Instagram, and follow us at Salty Dog Inc. If you follow us there, guys, you'll get all the little tidbits about when we're doing these podcasts, so on and so forth. That's our main vehicle to drive information to you guys. And also, if you're cool, I'm not saying, I'm just saying, head on over to www.gettingsalty apparel, where you will find all the t-shirts. You're not going to find this one. You're going to find this one on my website. But
The goods.
you're going to find all the other goods to help you with your t-shirt needs, your sweatshirt needs, your alcoholism, everything that you got going.
This is coming soon. Look at this. This is a brownstone. It's coming soon. Right? You see it? You see the brownstone? Right? You know what a flame comes out?
Swing it over, swing it over.
Flame comes out the third window. Oh, we got fire out the window.
You know, we really got off a topic here. We were talking about back in the day. What happened?
Hey, but back in the day, I was getting guns stuck in my face in the 8th grade,
so
and you know, you were clapping,
crying like a big fat pussy woman. Listen, we got a lot of stuff coming up. I haven't had one guy sent us any photos of the saltiest guy in your firehouse. What are you doing? You guys don't want free stuff? Free stuff. Free.
Hold on. Hold. Very important. Very, very important. Fireman is me says, will Chief have anything to say tomorrow night?
Chief Steve will be present and accounted for. You can bet your fucking last bottom dollar that Chief Steve will be present and accounted for. And soon, listen, I want to hype this up. Coming soon, Chief Steve Puppet meets the real Chief Steve. Coming in an episode soon, where once we can get out, once the HIV lifts and we can get out on the street again.
The high five.
We already sent them stuff. We're gonna do the former firehouses and what they are now. Is that
I got a whole bunch. I sent you most stuff.
Right. And Chief Steve loves it, and he's a big historian. So Chief Steve Puppet will meet Chief Steve. Who?
And he's a barrel of laughs.
Pete. Yeah.
Who is it? Chief who?
Who is it? Chief who?
No, we're not gonna.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. All right. Wait,
take it out.
Chief who? I'm Chief Steve. I'm here to check your socks. If your OT is high, I'll send you to the rock. Mustache trimmed and tight to your face. Know who you're talking to. Don't step out of place, 'cause I'm Chief Steve.
You know what? Worked out great. I had the thing muted the whole time. It was perfect.
Pete, do the next set of lyrics that I sent you for the next one, all right? We got to update it. You still have them, don't you?
I still have them, but listen, we got to keep that short.
You got to work. You got to work the chords a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's going on.
What do you mean, me?
Yeah, step on your foot. Have your kids step on your foot or something.
I think it's good.
I don't know who recorded that.
Sounds like somebody killing a cat, but that's all right, bro.
Allegedly.
I don't know.
Sounds like somebody running over a cat. But that's all right, bro.
All right, guys.
Let's go. Tomorrow night, be back for the big
high five
19er episode, bro. We're really going to go at it. So call in, give us your you probably won't like me by the end of this, but whatever. Don't care. And for the guy Steve, Big Steve, who loves me out there, keep him coming, bro. I love you, Big Steve. I love you. I love all the hate. I love the hate mail. I love it. I'll find out who you are too, motherfucker. I will find out who you are.
All right, we're back tomorrow with the HIV.
All right, see you guys.
See ya. Stay low and go.
See you at the big one.